And you do what your settings, etc. Bonjour tout le monde. Alors je suis ravi de vous retrouver pour cette interview avec Dev. Hi Dev. Et on va démarrer dans pas longtemps. Donc effectivement l'entretien sera en anglais. Et je vais bien évidemment poser pas mal de questions. J'ai plein de questions à poser. Vous pourrez les poser également. Alors on attend un petit peu. Normalement on va démarrer dans 2-3 minutes. Ok? Myriam est en train de faire des réglages. On va démarrer dans pas longtemps. Now they are starting to come, and so basically it's nice. Have you ever done a Facebook Live before?
No,
or not?
no.
So it's great because you have people from all over the world, and Facebook, you know, constitutes like an audience,
Okay.
and you can interact. You have people who will talk with you, ask you questions. My audience, of course, and it's really, really interesting.
Great.
Yeah, because. Donc on commence dans pas longtemps. Alors est-ce que vous pouvez, en attendant effectivement de débuter, me dire où vous êtes actuellement? Bonjour Yannick, j'espère que tu vas bien. Can you tell me where you are now? Donc l'endroit et bien évidemment le temps. Hein. Vous voyez, Dubaï, il fait super beau. So I said Dubai, the weather is nice. we are lucky to have a very nice weather.
Blue skies.
Yeah, it's the best moment to be in Dubai. Ça va. So Perpignan in France, Paris, Zineb. Hi Zineb. Thibault, Brest in Bretagne. It's in France also. Guillaume, south of France. Quel est le temps, le climat? Zineb is fait gris à Paris. It's it's great. So in Dubai the weather is nice. And Nice from France, Côte d'Azur. Casablanca, hi Abdrahim. Hope you're doing well. So we will start in a few minutes. Hi Baki, how are you? Il fait beau aussi pour autant qu'à Dubaï. Yes. So basically, Yannick is in Marseille, and it's nice. Ivory Coast. So basically, you have a university in Ivory Coast.
No, not
No.
in Ghana.
In Ghana, okay.
Yeah, but in Ivory Coast we have a business.
You have a business there. Okay. We will talk about Africa also. So 8 degrees. In Paris, it's 0 degrees.
Wow.
I think.
Come to Dubai.
Come to Dubai.
22 degrees.
Yes. Paris. Brussels, wow, -3. Good luck, David. So, Miriam, is it okay? We can start or not yet?
Just wait a little bit.
She's like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
She's
she's
the
like
director.
preparing.
She's the director.
Yeah, she's the director. So, Baki, I will thank you and thank you. Thank you, Baki. So, Baki is from Turkey, but he's in France. He's French. Alex from Mauritania. So, Mr. Tammy, I missed something. Who is he? I will explain to you who is this gentleman in a few minutes. Just be patient. Yep, doing great, Tammy Kabaj. You welcome your guest to Casablanca. Yes, thank you very much, Ami Ben. So, people are coming. Basically, it's like 1 o'clock in France. So,
Okay.
people are working or eating. It's not the best moment for a Facebook Live. Usually it's 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But it's great. We have like 55, and then the audience will grow. Okay, Miriam, I think we will start.
Yes, I'm sharing.
Okay,
We can just go.
we can start. So, alors, I will start in French.
Sure.
And then I will do
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
Bonjour tout le monde, je suis ravi effectivement de vous retrouver pour ce Facebook Live avec Dev. Donc Dev, je vais parler en anglais après, mais Dev c'est quelqu'un que j'apprécie énormément. C'est quelqu'un effectivement qui est vraiment génial. Il a beaucoup d'entreprises en Afrique. C'est quelqu'un qui est installé à Dubaï depuis pas mal de temps. Il voyage dans le monde entier. Et je vais lui poser des questions sur son parcours, sur ses conseils par rapport au monde de l'entreprise. Je vais également lui poser des questions par rapport à l'Afrique, ce qu'il pense de l'Afrique, du potentiel de l'Afrique, puisque c'est un gros investisseur en Afrique. Je vais également lui poser des questions sur l'Inde. Vous savez, l'Inde est très présente à Dubaï. On a environ 2,6 millions d'Indiens aux Émirats Arabes Unis. Donc c'est vraiment la plus grosse communauté. Et l'Inde est un pays qui est vraiment une puissance. Je vais lui parler de Trump, donc effectivement les élections. Et je vais également lui parler de trading parce qu'effectivement, Dev adore le trading, il vient souvent me voir, il investit beaucoup sur les marchés américains, sur l'or, etc. Donc effectivement, on va faire tout ça. So, now in English. So, I'm very, very happy to present you Dev. Dev is a friend. So, hi Dev.
Hi. Hi, Tommy. It's great to be here.
Thank you very much. So Dev is a friend, he's a really great guy, he's a person I appreciate a lot. He's an entrepreneur, he has many businesses in Africa. So he is based in Nigeria, Ghana, etc. But I will ask him many questions. And I wanted to interview him because Dev is not only a great person, but he's very humble, very, intelligent, and he's really a person that has like good vibes. You have people who make it, but it's not, the feeling is not great. With Dev, we had the feeling very quickly, and I think he's a person I admire, he inspires me, and I'm always very happy to see him. I don't see him very often because he travels a lot. He's in Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Africa, etc. So I want to ask you a few questions about your background and if you could present yourself to my audience.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. Tommy is a good friend. We share offices on the same floor in Dubai, and I see he has a very thriving business, a very modern business, a great following, and it's a pleasure to talk to him anytime. So when he came up with the idea of Facebook Live, why not?
Yeah.
Here we are. So to give you a background, I started doing business 28 years ago.
Okay.
I was working with a Singapore-based group in Asia, and there was an opportunity to go to Africa.
I will just, Dev, I will first ask you, so you are an engineer from Kansas University in the US.
Yes.
First we will talk about your degrees.
Yes.
So you're an engineer and you studied in the US.
Yes, I studied engineering in India where I grew up.
Okay.
And then I went to...
what city in India?
In a little town called Koilon.
Okay.
And then I moved to Indonesia.
Okay.
I took up a job in Indonesia, essentially to make $20,000.
Okay.
So I could go and do my master's degree.
Great.
In
So
the US.
basically you did a job in order to have enough money in order to do the... Okay.
Correct, yes. So I did my master's degree in industrial engineering.
Okay.
In Kansas State University. The reason I chose Kansas was because they had a great program.
Mm-hmm.
It was rated number 7 in the United States at that time.
Okay.
And they also gave me a scholarship.
Okay, great. So scholarship is a bourse, okay? Yes.
So, but having said that, I am a terrible engineer.
Okay.
I cannot even fix a light bulb.
Wow. So how did they give you the diploma, the degree?
Well, I stumbled through it. I mean, I was good in studies.
Okay.
So I made the grade, but my heart was not set in fixing,
Tanks, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the factory floor.
Okay.
I was always keen to be in business.
Okay.
In fact, more than half the programs that I studied in the US, I took in the business school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you were really, so you said, okay, engineering is good, but I'm more a business guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, I came back. I met my wife in Singapore. We got married, and then I started work again. And then an opportunity opened up for me in Nigeria.
Okay. So from Singapore, you said, okay, there is something in Nigeria. Okay.
So not many people would have gone to Nigeria in 1988, 89.
Wow.
So it was a leap of faith,
Yeah.
but I always liked the third world.
Okay.
It's pulsating with people. There's growth.
Yeah.
There's opportunity.
And there is life.
Yes.
And people also, there's always, even if they don't have much money, they are always happy.
There is dynamism.
Yes.
And there's a hunger.
Okay.
To grow. So
Yeah.
this excited me, and this is how I got started in Nigeria.
Okay, so 1988, you went to Nigeria, nobody wanted to go there, and you said, okay, I will go there and I will do something, okay?
So in Nigeria, the job I went for did not materialize, but I saw great opportunity to start a trading business.
Okay.
And with the help of family and my earlier company,
Okay.
we then started a paper trading business.
Yes. So it's interesting because Dev started in trading, but it was paper trading.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we are what you traditionally in the industry, it's called paper merchanting. So we act as paper merchants. We warehouse paper inventory, starting from reels for newspaper houses
Mm-hmm.
to stuff for printing companies,
Okay.
the whole gamut.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how we started. 1989 we started. We just completed 25 years a couple of years ago.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, it's been a not so easy a ride, but it's been a great
Yeah.
ride. A lot of lessons.
Yeah.
And
and how did you go from paper trading to?
yeah, so what happened was in 1994, 93, 94, Nigeria had its first democratic election,
Okay.
and things didn't go right with the election.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, we felt that we wanted to diversify.
Okay.
And at that same time, South Africa was opening up, apartheid had ended,
Mm-hmm.
and on a visit to South Africa, I saw immense potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started our journey from diversifying just from being in one country.
Yeah.
We'd got the formula right in Nigeria, so we decided to do a cut and paste in different countries in Africa.
Okay.
And that's how we've grown in different countries. in
You,
Africa.
you grew your business. So
Yeah.
I can just translate everything in
Yeah.
French very quickly. So Dev, il a fait des études d'ingénieur aux États-Unis. Au départ, il a fait effectivement des études en Inde. Et puis, il est parti en Indonésie. Il a gagné $20 000 pour effectivement obtenir une bourse, aller au Kansas, faire des études d'ingénieur. Et puis, il s'est dit, moi, le métier d'ingénieur, c'est pas mon truc. Je veux plutôt faire du business. Donc effectivement, il s'est dit, je vais faire du business. Il va à Singapour. Singapour, il rencontre sa femme et il a une opportunité pour aller au Nigeria. En 1989, personne ne pensait ou ne croyait au Nigeria à l'époque, mais il s'est dit, moi j'y crois, je pense qu'il y a quelque chose à faire. Il va au Nigeria et puis là, effectivement, ce qui devait se faire ne s'est pas fait, mais il crée un business dans le trading de papier. Et donc effectivement, toute l'activité du papier, il la maîtrise. Puis ensuite, du Nigeria, il va en Afrique du Sud et il va développer son business là-bas.
Yeah, so how did we diversify into other businesses? After we got the paper vertical right, we were approached for a service business in the education sector. And we wanted to move into services because commodity trading has limits. The margins are limited and can get very risky beyond a certain point. So as an additional diversification, we got into IT training in Ghana through an Indian company, and we were very lucky to get that sector right. And as it grew, and as the students were leaving, they used to come back to us and say, why don't we do other higher learning degrees? And one thing led to another, and we moved from IT training into colleges. We offer degree courses now in management, in IT, and we just about to launch a brand new campus in Ghana. We setting up a 30,000 square meter engineering campus, engineering and management campus in Ghana right
It's
now.
huge. So, donc effectivement, Dev à un certain moment lui propose de travailler dans le domaine de l'éducation, c'est-à-dire qu'effectivement il va enseigner, etc. Il enseigne l'informatique et puis on lui dit mais pourquoi on ne ferait pas quelque chose de plus important au Ghana? Et puis à partir de là, effectivement, il développe une université avec des diplômes, etc. Et aujourd'hui, il va créer un campus qui est immense, 30 000 mètres carrés au Ghana. C'est 30,000 square meters
Yes.
in Ghana. And what you will teach in this university?
We're going to start with the engineering programs.
Okay.
And then we're also going to introduce management, health
Okay.
sciences.
Okay.
So our team is working on different programs
Okay.
and the content for it.
Mhm. Ok, super. Donc effectivement, ils sont en train de développer une université d'abord spécialisée dans les métiers de l'ingénieur et ensuite ça va se développer dans les métiers de la santé, mais également dans les métiers du management, du business, etc. So that's great. And so you told me also you had campuses or colleges in Nigeria also?
No, not in
No?
Nigeria. We have
Okay.
expanded into Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Sierra Leone, okay, and Liberia, okay.
Yes. And we've also diversified. We did an additional diversification in the healthcare space as well. So we bought into a healthcare company in Mozambique about 12 years ago.
Okay,
And we've seen that business grow, and we've expanded into 6-7 countries now.
okay,
And at the moment, we are looking at setting up a life science park in Mozambique,
wow.
which will also have a pharma enclave, and we are setting up our first antibiotic facility in Mozambique.
Ok, donc il a développé un business dans le Mozambique, dans le domaine de la santé, et effectivement ça se marche super bien. Et ils sont en train d'envisager la création même d'un parc, etc. Donc il y a pas mal de développement effectivement dans ce secteur. So it's great.
Yep.
Thanks for all this information. So I wanted to ask you, what about Africa? So how do you see Africa in the next 10, 15 years? I know it's poor continent. You have many problems, many wars, but also it's the youngest continent in the world, and many people believe that it is the future. Do you agree with this opinion?
Absolutely. If you take a walk through my office, you will see everything about my office is about Africa.
Okay.
Given that we are in about 14 countries in Africa and do varied businesses,
Okay.
for us, Africa is a focus. It's what we know.
Okay.
So we want to stick to the knitting. We want to stick to what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not been easy. The last 25 years have not always been a straight ride.
Mm.
We've had challenges. Like last year was very challenging in Africa. Many countries had devaluations between 200 to 400%.
Mm.
But we've managed to weather the challenges. We've had challenges with banks in Dubai withdrawing facilities. So as an entrepreneur, you will always face challenges,
Yeah.
but you got to stay at it. And
Okay.
you got to have faith in yourself, and you got to stick to your story.
Mm. That's great. I will just translate very quickly because it's very interesting. Donc Dave a dit effectivement que ça a été une histoire extraordinaire en Afrique. Il a vécu des choses assez extraordinaires. Il est in how many countries in Africa are you implanted?
We are now in 14 countries.
14. Donc ils sont dans 14 pays en Afrique, ce qui est quand même assez important. Et puis il m'a dit effectivement il y a eu des hauts, il y a eu des bas, mais c'est le monde du business. Mais par contre effectivement si on a une vision, il faut y croire, il faut aller jusqu'au bout. C'est un peu ce que je vous enseigne également dans les différentes vidéos, etc. C'est que rien n'est facile. Hein. Mais Dave, voilà, il n'a pas eu un parcours super facile, mais il a cru, c'est-à-dire que beaucoup de personnes n'y croyaient pas à l'Afrique. Il a cru dans l'Afrique et effectivement, voilà, il a développé un petit empire, parce qu'il faut le dire, il est dans 14 pays, il est dans plusieurs business, dans plusieurs activités, il a d'immenses campus, donc c'est effectivement quelque chose d'assez magnifique. Autre question que j'ai posée à Dave sur ce qu'il pensait de l'Afrique, est-ce que l'Afrique avait un potentiel? Il m'a dit bien évidemment, il est focalisé sur l'Afrique, il n'est pas diversifié parce qu'il m'a dit c'est ce que je sais faire, je maîtrise l'Afrique, je maîtrise ce continent et j'ai pas envie d'aller ailleurs. So I just said you're focused on Africa because this is what you know.
Yes.
And this is what you master. And it's very interesting because many people, they want to be everywhere. And this is dangerous. You have to master first one sector and then diversify.
You know, when I went to Africa 28 years ago, I told friends of mine, I'm going back in time to get back to the future.
Okay, there is a question from Kamal. Why haven't you invested in Morocco since it's one of the most important countries in Africa for entrepreneurs like you? Good question.
Very good question. We focused on sub-Saharan Africa. So we started with West Africa, moved to South Africa,
Yes.
and are in East Africa a little bit now. So maybe that's the next one. Is it Kamal?
Yes,
So-
Kamal.
so Kamal,
We will do something together.
We'll take you up on that.
But yeah, Kamal, what I want to say also is Dev he speaks English, so it's not easy for people who do not speak
Correct.
French or Arabic to go to Morocco. I think this is also the thing because you are in Nigeria, you're just in.
True. We
Yes.
we have started our first French-speaking country, which is Ivory Coast,
Ivory Coast, yes.
and we want to set up, a correct footing in our first French-speaking country. And if we get success there, yes, we will be coming to you soon.
Okay, great. I want to ask you about the difficulties in Africa. What were they?
Yeah, Africa, the biggest challenge in Africa is raising credit.
Okay.
So to mitigate that, you have to go with partners who are strong, who understand Africa, who can fund you and are willing to take the risk.
Okay.
So finding the right partner was very important. Finding somebody who knew the terrain was important. Putting in a lot of effort, focused effort, sitting in Africa, focusing was very important. If you're able to dedicate these resources, then Africa has a lot to give you back.
Okay. I will translate very quickly. It's very interesting. So, donc Dev m'a dit que effectivement a dit que justement le gros problème en Afrique c'était le crédit, c'est-à-dire lever de l'argent. Il fallait qu'il trouve de bons partenaires solides qui connaissent également le terrain pour lui prêter de l'argent et pour lui permettre effectivement de développer des business. So there is Nabil who said, "Welcome in Morocco. There is great potential here. Why not again?"
Casablanca, here we come.
Okay, there we come. So basically, Africa, how do you see it in 20 years, 30 years from now?
Look, I think it holds tremendous potential because it has a very young population.
Yes.
People in Africa are, people have the hunger, they have the passion to do well.
Yeah.
And I think the next century belongs to Africa.
Ok, that's great. Donc il a dit de l'Afrique effectivement qu'il y avait un gros potentiel, que les gens avaient faim, qu'ils étaient vraiment motivés et qu'effectivement il y avait un énorme potentiel. I've been recently to Hong Kong and I was astonished to see so many old people. And I was saying, my God, because people are becoming older and older. And for me it was like, Africa is really the next step. And this is why many
Absolutely,
Chinese are investing in Africa. I think this is why. Because China is becoming older. And in 20, 30 years, the youngest continent will be Africa. And many, many countries will invest. So maybe this is the place to be today. Why are we in Dubai?
We are in Dubai because Dubai is a great middle point.
Yes.
I have certain family obligations in India. My parents, getting older, live in India, so I decided to be in Dubai, which is a short flight away. And importantly, Dubai flies into many destinations into Africa and is a great midpoint if you have business and family between India, Dubai and
That's great.
and Africa.
Yeah, I have to translate it. So, j'ai demandé à Dev pourquoi il est à Dubaï si l'Afrique est si géniale. Il m'a dit parce qu'effectivement c'est un super centre d'affaires, c'est pas loin de l'Inde et Dev est originaire de l'Inde. Et bien évidemment, il y a des avions pour toute l'Afrique et en termes de business, il n'y a pas mieux comme endroit. Do you think there are better destinations business-wise than Dubai? Like center points now, today, when you think India, Africa, etc.
Look, people still say that that Asia is currently the activity, the growth activity is in Asia. I just saw a statistic that Asia has just overtaken USA as the continent with the most number of skyscrapers. Middle East is soon following, but Singapore is another country that comes to mind.
What do you think, I will ask you this question now, when you compare Singapore to Dubai, what is the difference? And Hong Kong also, because these are the three main cities.
Hong Kong caters to China, mainland China mainly. Singapore caters to the rest of Asia generally. And I think Dubai to Middle East and Africa. So given that our businesses are in the Middle East, in spite of having family links in Singapore, I decided to choose Dubai as my home for the future.
How many years have you been in Dubai?
It's been 6 years since we've moved to Dubai. Dubai is a fabulous country, great connectivity throughout the world, and the government of Dubai is doing lots of wonderful things. I recommend everybody must come to Dubai to see what they've done. And there's a lot for Africa to emulate from the success of Dubai. A lot of my African friends, when they come to Dubai and they see Dubai, they say, why not our government to do the same thing?
Yes, that's great what Dev said. Donc Dev a dit effectivement que Dubaï était un endroit extraordinaire, que les dirigeants de Dubaï avaient fait un travail remarquable, que effectivement c'était vraiment un endroit qui était pro-business Et beaucoup de ses amis africains, lorsqu'ils viennent ici, ils disent mais pourquoi on ne fait pas la même chose en Afrique et pourquoi effectivement on ne met pas les mêmes investissements. Et c'est vrai que Dubaï, ils ont fait quelque chose. Alors beaucoup de personnes, encore une fois, ont des préjugés, etc. Mais je peux vous assurer, moi j'y habite, Dave y habite. So I said, yeah, you live here, I live here. This is a great place to do business, to grow, to live. To have nice friends like Dev. And yeah, it's really an incredible place. So for the young people who do not know where they want to go, I think Dubai is the place to be. You really have to come here to visit, and why not find a job or something like that, because it's very interesting. I want also to ask you a question about India. So there are many Indians in Dubai. It's like the first population. Recently, I think Sheikh bin Zayed went to India. He was welcomed by the Prime Minister, Modi.
Yes.
And so it's very good. Basically, there are very strong ties between India and the UAE. And India today is really like becoming more and more powerful. And why are Indians coming so massively to Dubai?
So I want to correct. Tomorrow, Sheikh Nayan is in Delhi for
Yes.
the Republic Day celebrations of India.
Yes.
He's one of the chief guests. So
Mm.
it's a good sign that the UAE and India have great relationships.
Good ties, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I would like to, because of the proximity of countries like Singapore and Dubai to India, one almost thinks that Singapore and Dubai are extensions of India to work out of.
Yes.
And these are two fabulous countries to work out of. Dubai especially now is becoming more and more relevant with the great connectivity it offers and the financial institutions it is setting up.
Yes. With the planes, because
Yes.
this is the thing.
And
Today you have many connectivity, and I think it has all the facilities in order to grow. Yeah.
It is sometimes easier to fly from Dubai to about 30 plus cities in India than from an Indian city into another Indian city.
It's crazy.
So,
Ce que Dave a dit, il a dit c'est plus facile de partir de Dubaï vers une ville indienne que d'aller d'une ville indienne vers une autre ville indienne. C'est juste pour vous montrer un peu l'importance de la connectivité et l'importance de Dubaï en tant que hub au niveau des transports. C'est incroyable, hein? It's incredible what you just said.
Yeah, and just as Hong Kong has such a great role to play with China, Dubai, India with 1.3 billion people,
Yeah.
and if you add Pakistan, Bangladesh,
Yeah.
and the rest of the region,
How many people? It's
there is a 2 billion
2 billion, my God.
population that one can address.
My God.
And again, a lot of young people
Yeah.
in these areas.
Yeah. C'est incroyable. So it's incredible. Ce que Dave vient de me dire, c'est qu'effectivement, c'est vrai que Dubaï mise énormément sur les pays aux alentours. L'Inde, c'est 1,3 milliard d'habitants. Vous avez le Pakistan, vous avez tous les pays aux alentours. Ça représente presque 2 milliards d'habitants. C'est-à-dire que beaucoup de personnes, effectivement, ne réalisent pas l'importance, parce que encore une fois on vit dans nos petits continents, etc., dans nos petites villes, dans nos petits pays, mais quand on réalise le nombre d'habitants, c'est 2 milliards de personnes. Et c'est vrai que Dubaï est en train massivement, because they created recently Bollywood Park, and
Absolutely,
they really
yeah.
want to, also the Sheikh, so it's Nahyan,
Sheikh Nayan, yeah.
Nahyan said that ties with India is a priority. Donc les liens avec l'Inde sont une priorité. C'est-à-dire qu'effectivement, ils veulent vraiment développer beaucoup de relations solides avec effectivement l'Inde. India, what is the future of India? Do you have ideas? What do you think about India today? The economy?
I think India is at the cusp of its greatest economic
Growth?
growth.
Yeah.
It's just poised for fantastic growth.
I think also. I just interrupt you very quickly. So, I will speak in French. Donc, l'Inde, effectivement, c'est un pays qui est énorme. C'est la plus grande démocratie de la planète. Beaucoup de personnes, effectivement, disaient la Chine. Mais aujourd'hui, l'Inde, effectivement, est en train de vraiment monter en puissance et je pense qu'elle peut avoir une croissance assez impressionnante. I just said what you...
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we have the most hardworking prime minister in the world.
Yes. He's great, Modi. He's a very nice guy.
And he's
Yeah.
also tech savvy.
Yeah.
And what he's just ushered in through the cashless society things that he has done is going to propel India
Yeah.
way ahead, even ahead of United States and Europe.
Wow. Wow, vous avez entendu ou pas? Je vais traduire parce que c'est super important ce que vient de me dire Dev. It's really great. So, Dev vient de me dire qu'effectivement, l'Inde, aujourd'hui, ils ont un Premier ministre qui est super dynamique. Je ne sais pas si vous le connaissez, le Premier ministre de l'Inde, c'est Modi. Modi, c'est quelqu'un, effectivement, qui est vraiment génial. C'est un ministre qui est très dynamique, très sympa. He's a very nice guy. Et c'est quelqu'un qui est également très versé dans l'informatique, dans les technologies, les nouvelles technologies. Il veut vraiment faire de l'Inde un géant. Et Dev m'a dit, moi je suis pas inquiet, je pense que l'Inde dépassera les États-Unis dans pas longtemps. How many years to become better than the US?
I think we need another 25 years.
25 years.
Yes.
Donc 25 ans, Dev dit que l'Inde sera plus puissant que les États-Unis. Mais encore une fois, c'est le nouveau monde, les chères personnes qui me suivent. C'est ça le truc, c'est qu'effectivement beaucoup de personnes ne réalisent pas, mais le monde est en train de changer et il y a beaucoup de pays effectivement émergents qui sont en train d'investir. India has great guys in the US, in
Google.
Silicon Valley, MIT.
Yes.
You have great guys. So il y a des super cerveaux and they are working hard. Et c'est ce que disait Dev, les Indiens travaillent dur. And I can see them even in Dubai, they are working hard, they're very serious.
So you see, with India, what lacks in India is physical infrastructure. And that's because we are an ancient society.
Okay.
We are a very old country.
Yeah.
So we have to invest in physical infrastructure.
Okay.
And that is not easy to do given that we have a very high population density.
Yeah,
So it's
very.
difficult to cut roads through major cities with 20 million plus populations.
It's very difficult, yeah.
So that's the physical is the challenge we have, but we are looking to address those challenges in the next 25 years.
Okay.
And from a virtual perspective, from an e perspective, India is reasonably ahead in the game from an
Yeah.
IT perspective.
Especially when you take like the engineers, the guys in Silicon Valley, you have many PhDs, you have many bright people. You said you have many friends in the Silicon Valley, many
Yes.
professors. So I think they are changing the game. And yeah, I agree with you. Probably India will be #1 in 25 years. I just want to add something in French. Donc ce que dit Dev, effectivement, c'est qu'aujourd'hui, ce qu'il manque à l'Inde, ce sont les infrastructures. C'est-à-dire qu'effectivement, c'est un pays très dense. C'est l'un des pays les plus peuplés de la planète. C'est un pays très dense. Il a dit, pour faire passer par exemple une route, vous avez une ville, il y a 20 millions d'habitants, c'est pas évident. Donc c'est ça ce qui bloque. Mais il a dit qu'effectivement, ils vont investir et puis ils bossent. C'est-à-dire que quand vous allez à la Silicon Valley, il y a plein d'Indiens. Quand vous allez effectivement dans les MIT, donc les grosses universités américaines, les Indiens, ils sont super présents. Et en plus, c'est des bosseurs, c'est des gars qui sont humbles. Et c'est des gars, ils ont un super réseau. There is also great network. Indians guys, they have great network, good relations, etc. Because in Africa, this is what they say about Indians. They have great network.
Network, you have to build a network today.
Okay.
We live in a connected world today. So if you're not connected,
Yes.
then you're not able to move
Yes.
things at a certain
Level.
efficiency.
Okay. Ok, donc Dev, ce qu'il m'a dit, c'est qu'effectivement il y a un gros réseau et il m'a dit que c'était important effectivement si on veut avancer et si on n'a pas de réseau, on ne peut pas avancer. C'est intéressant également pour le business, ok. Donc j'ai raté une partie du live, il opère dans quel secteur? Éducation, la santé et le trading de papier, ok. What's your opinion of the demonetization? So we will not talk about this now, Vert, but I have a question about Trump. What do you think about Trump, the new American president? So Trump a dit, moi je suis favorable aux Indiens, j'aime pas les Chinois, mais les Indiens j'adore, et j'ai envie de travailler de plus en plus avec les Indiens. So Trump said, I love Indians, I don't like Chinese, and I want to work with Indians. What do you think about?
See, there are two ways to look at Trump.
Okay.
One is through the eyes of disruption. So if you believe disruption is good, just as we've seen companies like Uber, bring about disruption and bring about change, from that point of view, there is a community of people who feel that Trump is good.
Okay.
What the government needed was some kind of disruption. But there's a lot of other people who believe that Trump comes with a lot of vested interests. It could be in the forms of personal business or other large interest groups. This is what that remains to be seen.
Okay. But what do you think when he's saying, I want America first, I want to put borders on Mexico, I want to cut ties with China, and I don't want them to take American jobs? What's your point of view about?
I think it is a lot of strong medicine that he's advocating at the moment.
Okay.
The United States has been a fundamental player in the economies of a lot of countries, and all of a sudden to withdraw back, I think it's more populist talk.
Okay.
Trump may say that, he may want to do it, but he'll find that it is not so easy to implement.
Donc, je vais parler rapidement, je vais traduire rapidement, I will translate very quickly. So, donc effectivement, ce que dit Dev par rapport à Trump, c'est que bon, le gars, il y a deux manières de le voir. Soit c'est quelqu'un qui est en train de changer, c'est une disruption, c'est comme effectivement, il est en train d'apporter un changement radical, comme Uber, etc. Donc effectivement, ça peut être positif pour certaines personnes. Mais ça peut également être négatif parce qu'il a un discours qui est assez populiste. Et puis bien évidemment, tout ce discours sur le protectionnisme, sur on ferme et on arrête d'avoir des liens avec les autres pays, l'Amérique d'abord, les autres on s'en fiche, etc. C'est assez dangereux, c'est populiste et bien évidemment, voilà, on ne sait pas trop ce qui va se passer par rapport à ça. So it's interesting, but now we will talk about something that is more interesting, financial markets. It's more interesting. So basically, you have a passion for the financial markets. You like trading, etc. So can you talk to me about the financial markets?
One of the things I wanted to do as I slow down over the next 10 years, if I slow down, was maybe take an interest on financial markets and do some investing on the side.
Okay.
But my wife always tells me I'm a lousy stock picker.
Yes.
So which is why I need the help of my friend here at Tommy. I think
I will try.
I think I have to enroll in a few of his classes.
Yes.
To learn the fundamentals of investing to get this right. I'm more at the moment an emotional investor.
Yes.
I like a company.
Yes.
I like to back a company.
Yeah.
I am also a value investor in that if a company is beaten down, I like to take positions. But I'm just starting to learn from Tommy that that's not the only way to invest.
Of course. So, c'est intéressant. Donc, je vais traduire rapidement. Donc, effectivement, Dev aime bien les marchés financiers. Il a dit, moi, j'aimerais bien investir parce que bon, il a quand même un certain patrimoine. J'ai envie d'investir effectivement sur les marchés. Sauf que ma femme, so your wife, you understand this bit French?
Yes.
Some words. Okay, great. Donc sa femme dit qu'effectivement c'est un mauvais investisseur et qu'il ne faudrait pas qu'il le fasse. Et effectivement, et il l'a dit, et j'adore Dev, I really appreciate the fact that you are realistic, humble, and you know what are your strengths and weaknesses. And that's very important. So, donc Dev dit, moi je suis quelqu'un d'émotionnel, j'investis dans des actions parce que j'aime ces actions et j'investis par exemple une action, je me dis tiens il y a tel chiffre ou il y a tel truc et ça c'est un problème. Et effectivement il est venu, so you came to see me very often about your investments and yeah there were some mistakes. So whenever he comes to see me now, Tommy, don't tell me that. Like for instance on the GBP, you remember?
Yes.
You came, et donc le GBP il était venu me voir, il m'avait dit ouais j'achète après le Brexit. Et j'avais dit, I said to you, no, don't buy. Et il a acheté, bon, you did not buy.
I did not.
Ok, hopefully. Bon, mais il y a beaucoup de personnes, encore une fois, qui n'ont pas, voilà, ce côté système, ce côté méthode, ce côté processus. Et Dev en fait partie, il a dit, voilà, moi j'aimerais bien suivre les cours de la TKL pour me former au marché financier parce qu'effectivement, c'est pas mon monde. And I would like just to say, concerning your words, that financial markets for me is like a process. It's like engineering, it's like business. You just need to follow rules. You must have rules, you must know them by heart, and you must apply them. And many people, they come on the markets with emotions, We're trying to beat the market. We try to anticipate. When you come to see me, whatever you come to see me, what I tell you usually, I don't anticipate.
Sorry.
I don't know what the market will do, and I don't care. Because this is not the most important thing. If you try to anticipate the market, then you're out. So always try to wait for the best moment before investing. So you have a passion, but you believe you're a bit emotional, so you will take courses with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you already come to see me very often. But no, yeah, you have to do it, I think, seriously. And because I'm not saying that because I want to sell you something, I don't care. But because you're my friend, and I believe that financial markets is something serious. It's like a business. You have to do it seriously, or it's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I've also understood in the last couple of months talking to Tommy is that
Couple of years, because that's
Yes.
yeah.
is that as an investor, we always invest for the long run.
Mm.
Okay, we make a few investments and we want to watch the investments grow.
Yes,
But investing in the markets, it's a different ball game.
of course.
You have to be prepared to watch the market go down and watch the market go up.
Mm.
And you can actually play the markets both ways.
Yeah.
So that's been a big learning for me. And trying to understand the fundamentals, the technicals, and finding a way to keep emotion out of the market.
Mm.
So yeah, lots more to learn.
Yeah, yeah. Donc c'est super. Donc Dave a dit effectivement que les marchés, c'est vraiment quelque chose de particulier, de spécifique. Il y a des marchés haussiers, il y a des marchés baissiers. L'investissement, ça demande effectivement une certaine patience. C'est ce qu'il a appris avec moi parce que souvent, il vient me voir, you come with your friends, tell me, I want to ask you a few questions. So, c'est super sympa parce que j'adore, I really appreciate you. So I said, I adore Dave. No, he's really a great guy. Et c'est intéressant effectivement de voir le raisonnement. Et Dave dit, voilà, moi j'ai besoin d'apprendre et j'ai encore des choses à apprendre. Et ce qui est génial, c'est ce que j'ai toujours dit, c'est qu'il ne faut jamais arrêter d'apprendre. On peut toujours s'améliorer, on peut toujours être meilleur. What I said to the audience is that we always keep learning. You always need to learn.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning, Dave is still learning, and it's very, very important. Do you have questions to ask? Est-ce que vous avez des questions à poser? Ensuite, on va vous libérer. Mais en tout cas, it was great having this discussion with you. And maybe we will have another one because, it was nice. Est-ce que vous avez des questions à poser? Est-ce que vous avez apprécié? Si c'est le cas, mettez des likes, des loves, tout ce que vous voulez. Bon, vous êtes mou là, hein? C'est 2 heures, il est 2 heures à Paris. Okay. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for listening in.
And just say, like this video or something like that.
Yeah, it's been awesome being here, talking to you guys and taking questions from my friend Tommy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and vive TKL. Vive TKL.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Merci beaucoup. En tout cas, c'était super. Et voilà. Et Dave, vraiment merci. Je le remercie parce qu'effectivement, c'est quelqu'un de très, très occupé. That's been like 2 years I wanted to interview you, but you were always busy. I was always busy. We never found the time, the moment. And I said, I really want to do this interview. So thank you very much, Dave.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
A real pleasure. And I hope this video will be like a great inspiration because Dev started with nothing, basically.
Yeah.
He started with nothing. And it's a success story because he did great things. He's in 14 countries in Africa and he's great. I really appreciate Dev.
Thank you.
You're a great guy. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Check. Partagez la vidéo. Merci beaucoup. Myriam is doing. Merci beaucoup. Ciao, ciao, ciao.